What's up, Melanated family? This is your boy Harrison, man, from MelanatedFathers.com and Melanated Fathers TV. This is Melanated Mondays. So every Monday morning, I'll come to you with a new video. We'll talk about relationships. We'll talk about situations with our kids. We'll talk about situations going on in society. The whole point, the whole goal, rather, behind Melanated Mondays is making people think. You feel me? Critical thought is extremely necessary in our community, black folks. We all need to, make it a point to challenge and think about everything that we've been presented, right? So, Melanated Mondays is something I'll bring you every Monday morning at the beginning of the week, and we'll talk about something that's plaguing our community, our families, our relationship, whatever the case may be. Also, everybody out there, please do me a favor. Go to melanatedfathers.com or go to Melanated Fathers TV. Check out the latest episode of my podcast, the Melanated Combo Podcast. I had the opportunity of interviewing a brother here from my city named Mr. Lewis. Mr. Lewis, he is a recording artist. He's a hip hop artist, but he also is a vegan. He homeschools his kids. So I think just his perspective on life, his perspective on how to deal with society is a little different from most people that I've come in contact with. So I think just listening to Mr. Getting his perspective on life, on the importance of being a vegan, all these different things. He does a lot here in the city that I'm in Sacramento, meaning, he's a hip hop artist who has more of a conscious vibe, but he works hard. That's like the biggest thing that I've noticed about him, regardless of how much fame he's been able to garner, or regardless of how big he's been able to get in the eyes of society, or different frames of success, whatever the case may be. The brother is just he works hard. He goes out and does his music, whether it's just going to old Sacramento, like the downtown portion of our town, just bringing his boombox out there and working, featuring on other artists' shit. He didn't start making his own videos, being a video director. He performs at all of the local events. Saturday, I had the opportunity of participating in an event. A family member of mine, Nikki, she had our second annual talent showcase at 2251 Florimont Drive, where she showcased different hip hop artists, R&B artists. It was like a talent showcase and a battle for like $150. Mr. was there too. You see what I'm saying? And typically all the events that I'm at, or different events like that, he's definitely in the building. If there's some rapping to do or some presenting to do, he's always there. So shout out to that brother, man. And please go to the website or go to Melanated Fathers TV on YouTube. Check out that interview. Tell me what you think. Also, like I said, Saturday, me and the family had the opportunity to go out and and be a vendor at a particular event. The event I was just telling you about, Nikki's second annual talent showcase. It was a lot of black businesses out there. My wife owns a funeral home here in the Sacramento area where I live. So we were there giving people information about, different types of prepayment insurance you can get for funerals. But ultimately, what we are trying to do with the funeral home is just get people aware of the future, like get people aware of how important it is to begin planning. Not, it doesn't necessarily have to be such a negative stigma attached to death or attached to our final moments on the earth. I think we should just figure out ways to prepare for that, however you feel comfortable, whether that's life insurance, whether that's coming to a funeral home and prepaying for the service you want, whether that's a 401k you have, whatever you may have available that will help you. Because what we see often is, not only do we see a lot of people in our community doing like GoFundMe pages and car washes and different shit like that, but also when people come here to the funeral home to arrange how the service is going to be planned or whatever, a lot of times one of the biggest issues they have in that room, some of the biggest things that they discuss, some of the biggest things that are troublesome at that particular time, is the fact that they may not have enough money to do what they want, or somebody thought this person was going to bring money. You see what I'm saying? Finances become a real big thing, man. So it's important that we, regardless of how old we are, it's important that we start thinking about that. And we don't do it we want name recognition, and we want people, when those final moments finally come, unfortunately for you or other people in your family, we want people to think of us and garner business that way. But bigger than all of that, it's a matter of just thinking about your future. And I think as a black society, we've become so accustomed to just doing what's good for us right now. We've become accustomed to being so short-sighted. I think because of how we've been treated in history, and because of how we haven't had shit economically like throughout the years. So we're just happy to see another day type of shit. You see what I'm saying? That's the mentality a lot of times, when in actuality, we should be figuring out a way to play the long game. So we had a really great time. We had a really great time at the event. You go to my Instagram page or my Facebook page, I was able to put up a lot of pictures about that event. You know, my black family in Sacramento, man, if you're available, whenever there's events where there's black vendors or there's black businesses, I think we all should do our part, just to come out, man, support, even if it's just for a minute. Just show people that, you are a part of the community to a degree. You feel me? So that was a really good event. I appreciate Nikki for throwing that on, man. She was celebrating her not having or being in business 9 years with her jewelry store. She has a dollar jewelry store. She does. She's a beautician as well, so she does hair in the same facility. Her store is at 2251 Florin Road. If anybody is in the Sacramento area, please go to 2251 Florin Road. There are several black businesses that are there. You feel me? So make it a point to stop by there, support, spend some money with the family. So Melanated Mondays. What I want to talk about today, I put up a post yesterday about, and this was really interesting to me. I put up a post yesterday about Oprah Winfrey, and how Oprah Winfrey was in an article in People's Magazine. She spoke about the fact that why she didn't marry Stedman, and the fact that even after all these years, they are still happy with that decision not to get married. She was just basically saying that she didn't fit the traditional norms of what society, and what maybe even him to a degree, would feel marriage was, as far as coming home, cooking, having the children. She just didn't feel she didn't feel she fit that traditional standard of what being married is. So they decided not to do it. And a lot of people on that post, you know how social media is. People will say what they want to say and kind of, get in there and make different conclusions and shit. People were saying, oh, she gay. People were saying, oh, she the devil. She Illuminati. All this fuck shit. When, I'm getting to a point now, family, where I'm a conspiracy theorist too. I understand how fucked up it's been for black society, so I'm not above thinking that outside fraction has infiltrated us and done some shit wrong to us. But shit like that don't really hold no merit. You feel me? I think if Oprah would have got married and did it the traditional way, people wouldn't be saying a lot of that shit. But because she's not married and she decided just to be with the brother, we saying, oh, she fucking with Gail and all this other shit. Unless somebody can point me to some information that I don't know, I don't really think that to be the case. But the reason why I want to talk about that is because what I noticed, or what I realized by listening to her talk, by posting a story, writing about the story or whatever, I think that's powerful. I think everybody, I'm talking to black folks, but everybody in general, I think it's important, man, to live your own truth. I think it's important to don't feel that you have to conform to any societal norms. And I think marriage is one of those things in society where a lot of people feel that they have to conform to that structure. They feel like if they're not a part of that structure, then life won't be the same, or you're not successful, or your relationship isn't happy or worthy, or all these different things. And I'm here to tell you that that's bullshit. I think that, because I know several married people, several married people. And the biggest takeaway that I get when watching people that are married, I look at them and I say, okay, how was their relationship before that day? Because that's a ceremony. I mean, you can put more into it if you want to, but keep in mind, y'all, we in America, where 50 to 60% of the people who get married don't even stay married. That's a ceremony in a legal, that's like a legal situation that you're getting yourself into more than anything else. Like, people can, just because you're in the church, just because there's a pastor there conducting the ceremony, that's not what it's about. I'm sorry. Because if anything goes wrong, if you have a problem with this ceremony and you want to get out of it, you want to say, I don't want to do this shit no more, you can't go back to the church and just say, okay, pray, come on, let's do the same ceremony we just did. Just do that shit again and reverse it. You feel me? That's not how that shit works. You got to go down to the goddamn courthouse. You got to, your marriage license looks just like a business license. So in America, don't get it fucked up, marriage is a business. You feel me? More than anything else. That's my opinion, watching it. So people that I know, to get back to that, people that I know that are married and have, I look at their relationship before they were married, and I look at what has changed since they were married. For the men, I know men who are married, these are who I talk to, this is who I talk to, there's no difference. Before they got married, they loved their woman, they planned on being with this woman forever. They had no plans on leaving her. They seen a future with her. They wanted to be with her, live in the same house with her, do bills with her, be a team, right? This is how they felt before the marriage. That day passed and nothing significant happened after that day. Or now that you're married, this doesn't happen. See, I think that's where people get it fucked up. It's whatever you are in your relationship, wherever you guys are going, whatever you're into, it's still about love. First, right? It's still about understanding. It's still about compromise. Like, that's a big part of being in a long-term relationship. It's still about really being physically attracted to the person. It's really about having similar mentalities when it comes to how you see the future. All these things have to happen. That piece of paper won't make or break whether or not these feelings will move forward. I think sometimes people get married thinking, once I get married, okay, this is going to happen. Once I get married, okay, this is going to change. And I don't think that's the case. You see what I'm saying? So for people who are, but the thing is though, I think, again, it should be about everybody, all of us just living our truth. I know people who are married and I think they're going to be married forever. Like, they had a good relationship before the marriage, a little rocky or whatever, but who don't, got shit going on, a little rocky before the marriage, after that day took place, what's going on in their life, how they feel about their woman, all that shit's the same. So I don't think they'll get divorced or no shit like that. But I've learned that when it comes to individual relationships, the best way to move forward in the individual relationship is, first things first, fuck what everybody say. You got, especially for women, I mean, I must say, especially for women, your sisters, your mama, your auntie, everybody has a opinion on what the fuck you should be doing. Everybody has an opinion on when you should be married. Everybody has an opinion on how that shit should go, right? The first thing you need to do is say, fuck everybody's opinion. Me and this man, or me and this woman, we gonna sit down and we gonna determine how we gonna move forward. We gonna determine what traditions we are going to uphold in this house. We gonna determine what traditions we ain't gonna fuck with in this house. And if anybody outside of this house, like anybody, my mama, my daddy, my grandma, for your shit to really be tight, you gotta know how to say, okay, I know how my mama did it. I know how my dad did it. I know how they talked to me. I know how I was raised. I have to reevaluate all that shit and look at the person that I'm with and determine how are we gonna create our version of this same thing, right? Because if you're using somebody else's template to create a happy relationship or to be a good father or a good mother, that shit ain't gonna work, family. My advice for anybody is to tear down everything traditionally you've learned from anywhere, from history to relationships to how to be a parent to how to just fucking live. I say tear all that shit down and create your own based on what you understand, based on what you like, based on what you've researched, based on what you think works for you. You feel me? One of the worst things you can do is have outside fractions telling you what you should do with your relationship, because at the end of the day, if your shit don't work, them gonna be the same motherfuckers telling you, hey, I told you it wasn't gonna work, or talking behind your back when you gotta get a divorce. You see what I'm saying? Whatever the case may be. That's why living in your own truth in all facets of life is really the best way to live. Like, that, to me, that's what puts your soul at ease, when you know you're doing what you're supposed to do, when you know you're doing what you feel is right. Even if You may make some mistakes and end up fucking up a little bit, even if that ends up being the case. So what? You'll learn from it, you'll move on. But that's up to you to learn. You see what I'm saying? That really ain't got nothing to do with nobody else. And a lot of times in our society, in our families, and I've been through this. I mean, I'm speaking from experience. You got to say, forget what everybody else is saying, man. You got to know how to block them out to live your truth. And that's being older and looking at Oprah's situation. That's what I think of her situation. That's what I think looking at that. Because when I was younger, seeing her not get married, listening to the headlines, listening to a lot of the stuff that is said about people, I was kind of falling into a little bit of that too. Is she gay? What's wrong with Stedman? All this kind of shit. Where in actuality, the sister is just doing what works for her. You feel me? Yeah. So, like I was saying, family, it's important that we do what's best for us. And I think the only reason why I brought up that story is some people was even like, why are you even talking about this? This thing got shit to do with black progress or empowerment. Well, it does though. Like, follow me. I brought up the Oprah story because to me that was a shining example of doing you, basically. You know what I'm saying? It's really simple at the end of the day. It's important for all of us to figure out how we want to construct our relationship, our lives, though. It's the same thing, man. Like anything you want to do in your life, anything you want to be, like tell yourself you that shit and do it. It's that simple. It's that simple. That's how you have to live your life, y'all. You don't know how much time you got to be here. None of us do, right? You don't know how much time you got to be here. And this is one of the biggest things I've come to realize being around like a funeral home and being around death so much, even after going through losing my mom and my dad and my grandma. You know what I'm saying? All my grandparents and parents have died in a way that has affected me. You see what I'm saying? So some of the biggest things that I've realized, family, is go out and do that shit. Do that shit the way you want to do it. Do that shit the way you want to do it. Be accountable though. Be like, realize everything that happens in your life is 50% in spite of you, 50% because of you. You feel me? So you are the biggest factor in everything. Everything you're doing wrong, everything you're doing right, you're the biggest contributor in that situation. You see what I'm saying? So it's up to you. Whatever you want to be it. Whatever kind of relationship you want, manifest that shit. And be able to tell other people, fuck off, man. Nobody has to deal with. That's what I had to realize. Being young and being in a relationship that was complicated. I made it complicated, by the way. Being in a relationship that I made complicated. Having outside children. Having different people outside of the relationship. Giving opinions on what they think should happen. On how I should move forward. Sometimes it was coming from a good place. Sometimes it wasn't. But I had to realize what they say don't really matter. Because at the end of the day, me and this woman got to go home and look ourselves in the face and determine, okay, how we going to do this shit? How am I going to make you happy? How you going to make me happy? Nobody outside of that really determines that. Because when it don't go right, when it don't go right, they're not there really. When it don't go right, they don't give a fuck. They got their own lives to worry about. You see what I'm saying? So I made sure all outside chatter, I had to get rid of that shit coming from anybody. You have to make sure you and the person are doing what you feel is best for you. And it seems like, after all these years of watching Oprah and Stedman, I was reading that shit, y'all, and I was like, you know what? I get it, because my situation is similar. So I was like, you know what? I get it. Happiness is what the fuck you make it. That's the moral of the story. You feel me? So this has been another episode of Melanated Mondays, man. Go to the website, melanatedfathers.com. Check it out. Look at the book of the month. Look at the latest podcast. Look at the latest news stories we have. Tap into what I'm doing. Go to Melanated Fathers TV on YouTube. I just got the YouTube channel back cracking maybe like 2 months ago. I had it going really good. I had a lot of subscribers. And somebody hacked my shit and stole it. You know what I'm saying? So I had to start all over, but it's all good. I'm going to keep doing my thing, man. I want to thank everybody for continually supporting me. Like I said, go to the website, check out everything I've been doing. Go.